Hi guys, I'm Rach, and if this is the first time we're hanging out, it's nice to meet you. I'm glad that you're here. I am a podcaster and an author, and I have spent the last 10 years writing about and speaking about things that have helped me in my life, things that have helped to make my life better. I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I've got some ideas, and I hope that these ideas will be helpful for you, because today we're asking a big question. Can life actually get better? I got this question because I wanted to talk about my journey to a better life. And I should really quickly just add, the idea of a better life, I think, can throw people off, because it sounds like I'm about to tell you the way to live, or the right way to live, or the best way to live. That's not my intention at all. I think each and every one of us has a life that would be ideal for us. So my hope is that by telling you the story of how I have tried to make my life better through therapy and faith, spirituality, learning to walk, learning to run, knowledge, conferences, teachers, books, like the list is literally endless. Over the last 15 years, I have fundamentally changed my life by trying out a bunch of stuff. Hi guys, it is Friday. I came in extra early to record this video for you guys. It's a space for people who recognize that they have some work to do. What the 90s grunge is happening today? And then sharing that stuff with you guys. I always tell my story not because I think you should follow my path, but because I hope that hearing about my path encourages you to walk down yours. Originally, I thought I was going to call this episode Personal Development 101, or like Personal Development for Dummies, or something silly like that. But then I thought maybe I should look and see what kinds of questions women specifically were asking YouTube already, to see how they were getting to personal development as the answer. The question that I saw over and over was some variation of, can life ever get better? I feel like each and every one of us have experienced a time in our lives where we were in that kind of despair, where we were asking God, the universe, someone we loved. So I wanted to speak to that person today, because I have been that person. I am positive that you have been that person, and maybe you are that person right now. I'm gonna talk about what has helped me on my journey to personal development. Like, what does that mean? What does it look like? What are the tactics? What are the things I do every day and have done for years to make my life better? And that's in all kinds of ways. Whatever way you were imagining about how life could be better, I have worked on it. I'm pretty sure. Unless you have some very specific niche career and I've never tried to figure out how to be a pig farmer, then that's not true. I actually did, I was gonna say raise a pig, but I took care of a pig for the FFA when I was in high school. So I probably would have some ideas on pig farming. So, can life get better? Of course it can, but it won't be easy. The road to make it better is not easy. The first time that I drove my mom's Plymouth Acclaim when I was 16 years old or 15 years old getting my permit, and I was terrified that I was gonna kill everybody. I was gonna run over pedestrians. You're so terrified when you get behind the wheel.
Watch out for the bike lane!
Oops, my bad.
Now, I got a minivan. I will roll that, I will drive that thing with my left knee while handing a sippy cup to my daughter and screaming at my son and getting the dog off something. You could drive with your toes if you needed to at this point, but that's not how you started. Here's my big question. Here's a different way to think of it. Let me do it again, you guys. I want to ask you a question. I want you to think of an amount of money, and that amount of money is going to make your life minimum 10 times better. Minimum. That's what's going to happen. Your girl Rach showing up at your house with a giant check 18 months from today. What's the number? In this dream scenario, I'm not actually giving you money. Hashtag disclaimer. Hashtag I'm not that fancy. In order to get this thing that's going to make your life 10 times better, I'm going to give you a list of things you got to do all the time, habits you've got to adopt, things you don't really want to do, but that you know are good for you. You're going to move your body. You're going to drink some water. You're going to have more greens. You're going to take in some protein. You're going to see nutritionists. You're going to see your therapist. And in that 18 months, you're going to see tiny little glimmers of your financial future. It's a guarantee at the end of the 18 months, I'm showing up with $1 million. I don't know anyone who is not willing to agree to do that, especially knowing that the tasks they're going to do every single day are good for them. Oh, there's an airplane.
Mustang, this is Maverick requesting flyby.
Okay, working on yourself is the same exact way. You are guaranteed a massive payoff 18 months from now, probably sooner, but for sure 18 months from now if you commit. My point is, since the beginning, we have been working on ourselves in different ways. So why do you think it's not possible for you to improve? I think it's easy to understand why maybe it doesn't always feel like it applies to us as women. And I know there are some dudes watching or listening. Thank you for being part of this community. I love you. As women, we're not shown models of what it looked like. Women are most often shown working on themselves in terms of how we look, changing our body, changing our hair. Here's the makeup, here's the outfit. So the first awareness I have of ideas that are now part of like modern personal development would have been Napoleon Hill back in the 1930s. Iconic book called Think and Grow Rich. Look it up. It's been around since the 1930s. So Napoleon Hill goes and talks to all of these people and basically says, how did you do this? Oh gosh, I hope if I'm wrong in the YouTube, like just put a note of how many people he actually interviewed. You know the guy in Monopoly with the monocle? The US was inside of the Great Depression. We're all saying the same stuff. That's why I'm so passionate about this subject, because there's nothing new. There's no new ideas here. There might be new tactics and ways to approach them. And, now we know about broccoli sprouts. New pro tip, broccoli sprouts. But it's not new ideas. It's just new applications of those ideas. This is really solid footing. This is like some proven stuff to work on. If you're resonating with this idea and you do work similar to me, you're an author, you have a podcast, you have a YouTube channel, or you dream of having those things, please do it. Please do this work. Most especially if you don't look like the people who are already doing this work. Because I can only tell my story. And some of the greatest teachers in this space, Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins or Les, they can only tell their version of the story. They only know their worldview. But your worldview is also helpful to so many people. I ended up as a teacher in this space or a communicator in this space because I didn't see examples that looked like me. I started my personal development journey as just a mess, really. Just really struggling. And I think most of us start a journey of self-work when we feel messy. Personal development, working on yourself, self-work, whatever words you want to use, by my definition, is working on your whole self, one part at a time. Start with an area of tension. Okay, Rach, what the heck does that mean? We're going to focus on what's hard. That's what my grandma would say. What's hard? What feels hard? That's the most basic that I can get on this idea. My journey into personal development started when I was in a really messy place. I would have told you this was my hard spot. This was my area of tension. It's where things felt really tense. And it was me as an adult experiencing anxiety for the first time. And without a lack of any other ideas, I drank wine. 2 things about wine, by the way, as a solution to this problem. Number 1, wine is filled with sugar, which would then make my heart race, which would then make me feel more anxious. I didn't know this at the time. I just keep drinking. And a glass of wine can only work for so long, and then you need a glass and a half, and then you need 2 glasses. And then I found myself waking up every day with a hangover. I can't go down that rabbit hole right now. Focus. But I remembered thinking, well, I learned about business by reading books. I wonder if there are any books on anxiety. And one by one, I just started trying stuff. And as I started trying stuff started working. I started to feel better. But it began with a single area of tension. So I'm going to tell you how to do that. Step 1 is identify the area that you want to work on. That's your area of tension. Step 2 is work the area. Focus in on that one spot and work the area. The next time you're experiencing a moment of tension and you're like, I'm so sick of this, I'm going to give you 3 song choices I want you to hear in your head when this happens, or sing out loud or blast on your phone, for you are going to work on this area. Obviously, Work Bitch by Britney Spears, which, just in case we can't get the rights to play a little bit of those songs, you know it. You want a hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work, bitch. Goes like that. I sound just like her. I know. The second song you can choose, Work by Rihanna. Work, 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 work. Work, 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 work. Why is she so cool? Third song, Work It by Missy Elliott. Is it worth it? Let me work it. Put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's your feminine, it's worth it. I'm here. The third thing you're going to do is an acronym I just made up called KEEP. KEEP. In fact, if you're watching this on YouTube, editors, what if you just made it here like it came up through magic, like keep? No, that sounds like someone just flatlined. Like keep, like with ling, and it's beautiful. Here's what those letters stand for. K, knowledge. E, energy. E, environment. P, people. When you find an area you want to work on, you get to choose one of these 4 things, all of these 4 things, run it down the list, do them alphabetical, do them in a different order, up to you. Number 1, you're going to look for knowledge. Any area. KEEP works for any area. The ways that I find knowledge are in books. So I will pick a certain topic. Let's say it's a nutrition thing that I'm trying to figure out. I'll start doing research. I like to read books. I like to listen to podcasts. I like to watch YouTube videos. I like to do online research. So knowledge is a great one. I use it over and over. And to be honest, it's usually always where I start. The second E, energy. Now, if you've ever been to one of my conferences, a big part of the conference where we dance, we very intentionally always had movement, dancing, stretching, jumping up and down, because my favorite line is, when you move your body, you change your mind. And this one is especially powerful to get yourself to a state of belief about something being possible. My examples of changing your energy are meditation and prayer. All of those things can energetically change the overall vibe of what you've got going on. The next E is environment. The environment that you are inside of can give you the keys, the support that you need, the help, the ideas, the belief system. Your environment can be massively influential in your ability to work that area of tension until it is no longer an issue. This is where you personally create an environment that can allow you to make change. Routines and rituals, guys. Consistency is everything. Yes, it's boring. Yes, it's changing. You can't feel it. It's a little bit at a time. Routine and ritual is you creating your own environment to have success inside of. The last one, P, people. So if you're struggling with a certain area of your life, perhaps the first place you start is by looking at the people in your life. Who are these people in your life, and how are they affecting the way that you see the world around you and the way that you see what's possible? But people can also be huge supporters. These are teachers. These are therapists. Maybe this is the exact nutritionist that's going to help you figure out this plan that's going to make you feel better. Here is the thing. The knowledge exists, okay? Whatever you are facing, I don't care who you are, where you are, how much money you have, whatever you are facing in this life, there is an answer. There is a solution. Imagine like a giant circle, okay? This giant circle that I just drew on the page, guys, it represents all of the knowledge in the history of Earth. Every single being on this planet, all of the knowledge is represented by this big circle. Now I'm going to hand you this paper, and I want you to put a circle inside the circle that represents how much knowledge you personally have. In the giant circle of all the knowledge in the world since the beginning of the universe, what is the circle that represents how much knowledge you have? You're barely going to touch the paper because you are smart enough to understand that if you are considering all of the knowledge in the history of the universe, what you personally possess is probably quite small. Now, if you are willing to admit that that's true, that isn't it also true that in all of the area that's left in the circle might be your solution? And you are capable of acquiring the knowledge and doing the work to make your life better. Yes, of course, life can get better. But you are the only person who can make your life better. I'm really grateful that you guys hung around to the end of this episode. I hope that I gave you some information that you dug. All of our content will always be available for free, and we would just so appreciate it if you'd help get it out in the world. I'm Rachel. I'll be back soon with more information. And until then, as always, I love you and I'm rooting for you.